Well, hey, it's Diva, and I'm here again with another message, guys. Listen, people have simply disrespected you at the most. They've definitely looked at themselves and said they were more than you. See, the way that people are playing games these days, they don't look at the chosen ones and say, oh, let me respect them because I know that they're in the way that they are. Most of the times they're looking to see how they can pay you some type of disrespect by doing something against you or literally thinking of ways to ruin your life. But that's the sick game that they're playing. These people will have to pay for what they've done. And the thing about it is, see, when the Most High steps in, he's not going to take it light. He's not taking it light when it comes to the chosen ones. When people disrespect you, they're definitely disrespecting the Most High. So think about it. If they're disrespecting the Most High, you know they're going to get some type of wrath when it comes to that. Many of them are not really here to face their real life. The only thing that they're looking at is how they can come up off of you or come up off of the chosen ones. How can they get like us? They want to try to do what we're doing, but when it comes to them, it's not legit. It's not real. It doesn't come off as real. It come off as real fake, okay? And see, what they'll do, let me tell you what they'll do. They'll try to say that what you're doing is fake, and they'll tell other people that you're fake. They'll go around you, come around you to take notes and try to, watch and see what you're doing. And then they go back and use that same information to try and use it for their own selfish gain. See, some of you guys are looking and you're saying, like, what's going on with the economy? What's going on with your wealth? What's going on with this? It's simply because they've taken your tools, your energy, the things that you've been doing and trying to duplicate it to make it their own. And what they'll do is call you fake. You already know that. They'll call you fake to make people look at you to think you're fake, and that way that they can keep their eyes on them. And see, when it comes to other people like this, they'll tend to try to take what's yours. They'll try to take what's yours. So what you have, they'll try to sabotage what you have to take it from you, and then have it for themselves, or either try to go after what you have. Keep in mind, their whole mindset is to be like you, to be cloned, and to be like just like you. And so they have to watch you and keep seeing how you work, what you say, some of the words that you say. You can look at these people and they'll start to say the same thing you're saying. They'll try to be like you, and if you look at them, listen to them, you'll hear that some of the stuff that you say is just like you say. Some of the things that they say are the things that you say. See, they're not playing fair these days. So this is why we have to take it upon ourselves to move in silence. Even though you may be on a major platform, you may be seen in the public side, whatever you're doing, whatever it is, you don't have to write down everything that you're doing. You don't have to say everything that you're gonna say. Because I was thinking last night, I said, you know what? How could I even forget about eavesdropping spirits? Like, how could I forget about that? These are people that will look through crystal balls. They will get readings on you to try to see what you're doing. They're looking in on you, and you're thinking, okay, well, you're moving in silence. But if you're writing this stuff down and you're planning things out, they can actually see it. So if you switch it up, they won't have no choice but to do what they gonna do, and which is nothing, because they don't have anything. Most of these people don't even have the anointing that the Most High has given you. God has given you an anointing that is different from anyone, any chosen ones. All of the chosen ones are all different. We all have different ways of doing things. We have a different anointing. We have different talents and different ways of doing things. And so when it comes to them, they'll try to do what you're doing, but if they're unable to see what you're doing, honey, they can't do nothing. It's nothing they can do. So then they'll start to go crazy, like, what in the world do I need to do next? It's something here that Spirit is just wanting you to make sure that you're only thinking these things. Okay, so keep these things in thought. Okay, so make sure you're keeping them in thought, because they are watching throughout. You know, have you ever felt like someone was watching you, or you felt like you couldn't, like everything you thought or you wrote down or you said in private, you start to see other people doing it, or something happens in that manner. Sometimes it can look like a sign, like maybe this is a sign, maybe this is God just showing me that this is, no, sometimes, in many times, it's people who are watching, who are creating these scenarios around you to make you think that that's what's happening. So especially things that are bad, like just say for instance you were thinking of something happening, like you were afraid this was gonna happen, then the next minute it happens, or the next day it actually happens, and you said it, okay, you said it out loud, and you're like, well, how could that be, how could that be so, you know? And sometimes you can confuse it as to thinking that you are like you had a premonition or something like that. You know how they say you got a premonition or something, you thought of it and it happened. No, it wasn't that. In most cases, in this time, in this season, this is the time where you have to move differently. You got to be, you got to make sure that you're moving differently, in a different way, so that they won't be able to chastise you or try to mimic what you're doing. See, how do you think that people, when they try and sabotage you, they tend to know your next move? It's simply because they're using tools to try to watch you. Okay, some of these people use scrying mirrors. They look, they look through mirrors to see you, and that's why you have to pray against that eavesdropping spirit or eavesdroppers, because they can see what you're doing, believe it or not. And so if you are a part of the chosen, if you're an empath, if you're something, a healer, something like that, and you feel like something ain't right, you can feel, it almost feels like it's a weight on you. It almost feels heavy. It almost feels like, you feel tension on your head or tension somewhere. You can just feel it. So if you're smart enough to pay attention, you'll realize that that's what this is. And I want most of us, all of us actually, to be more attentive to that, because all of this ain't coming from the Most High. So that's why you have to be very discerning. See, some of y'all got people that's watching your accounts. I told y'all this like probably a couple of weeks ago, about them watching you. It may have been a month ago. Yeah, they was watching how you were spending, and I really didn't explain to you how they were watching how you were spending. They're able to see when you open up your bank account, or whenever you go to the ATM. They're able to see those things. There's things that they see. They also astral project too as well when you're doing things. So these people have become very skilled in what they do, but we know the Most High has more power than that. He's able to stop all of that, and they don't understand. See, at this moment, the Most High is not playing. He's getting ready to show them that what they're doing is not right, and the things that they continue to pry up on you and try to, because it's a war out here, right? And it's a spiritual thing. It's all up in the spiritual world. This spiritual war is different from the physical world. See, in the physical world, you can see when somebody coming at you. In the spiritual realm, you can't see all that, but that's why we use our angels, and we ask God to do all of this for us, and He's able to show us. And that's when we get our dreams and our visions and signs from the Most High, pleading the blood, and making sure you do all of that to cover you and your family, whatever it is that you got going on. But understand that, don't mistake it now that since you hadn't done this in the past, if you hadn't done this in the past, just make sure you start to do it. Don't get it twisted and start thinking, dang, I messed up. Dang, I should have been doing this a long time ago. The Most High was protecting you then, but now you have to be more aware. You have to be self-aware when it comes to this situation, because we don't want people taking advantage of the chosen ones, because we're on a mission. We're here to change the world. We're here to change lives. And if we're unable to do that, He knows that, your purpose can't be lived out. So He's going to make sure you're good. So when you utilize these tactics and you begin, okay, another thing too is praying between 12 a.m. and 3 a.m. Getting up and doing and praying and praising and worshiping and moving, casting out all of those demonic spirits that are coming to attack you. if you're doing this in these hours, you're able to take what was stolen from you, because some of you guys, these people have already stolen from you. You may not, well, a lot of you guys probably know, and you can feel that something's not right, but these people have actually been stealing, you know, from things from you, and while you weren't aware, because you know it says to be sober, be vigilant, and then it said why, and also says, the word says, while men were sleeping, the enemy came and stole what was theirs. So while you're sleeping and when you're in your most vulnerable time, that's when they tend to do their work. So if you're up during that hour and you're calling on your angels to come through for you, and you're doing all the things that you need to do when it comes to your situation, you're calling those things out, you're praising and worshiping during those hours, nothing can attack you, nothing can come against you, because you done already came through and set the mood for that day. Because the 12 o'clock, 3 a.m. is setting the tone for that day. Okay, so therefore you're waking up, you're doing what you have to do, and then you go on about your day, because you're now setting the tone. You're going before, you're sending your angels before you throughout that day. I just seen 444. So some of you guys are connected to the number 444. So it's definitely showing you that this thing will set the tone for you. It will make sure that your path is made straight when it's time for you to get out and, conquer the day. So doing all of this is going to cause these people to feel the disrespect that they have given you. They're going to feel so disrespected in the spiritual realm, because you done already sent out your angels to attack whatever it is that they're doing. So most of you are getting to a point of relief. You're gonna get to a point of relief, especially when you're out here and you're getting up and you're doing your part. When you're doing that, because sometimes you gotta stop what you're doing and change it up. Like I said, you're moving in silence already, right? You changing it up, it's gonna confuse the enemy. It's gonna confuse the people that's after you, and they tend to use people that's closest to you to do these things against you. So a lot of people work with demons. They actually do. They work with them to send these attacks to different people. You might have known, you might not have known, but if you're using the tactics of releasing your angels throughout those hours, they can't touch you. It's a war. They're gonna have to lose. They already lost the battle. That's why they're getting so very, impatient, and they're getting desperate at this time, because they know that it's getting close to where the victory is going to show up. They already know that. That's why they come to the point of feeling like they really don't know what to do. So now they start to do all this chaos and stuff. They're sending out attacks. They're doing all of this to the chosen people. And that's why Spirit is saying, listen to me. It's time for you to wake up. You can't be sleeping. Wake up. And get into the energy of trying to do what you have to do to save yourself and to save those people that are around you that you know need it. Your work is not yet finished. So now it's time to switch it up. So these disrespectful people can stop what they're doing and leave you the hell alone, right? So it's time for that. So now we're going to have to get up and do what we have to do, okay? It's time to go to work, okay? And that's on period. I hope you guys have enjoyed this message. Please be sure to take notes of this so you can do your part and take back what the enemy stole from you, okay? Peace, love, and light.